fast changing and news breaks at lightning speed. Let us guide you through events and stories about global narratives and developments in geopolitics, diplomacy, foreign affairs, and world economy. Get factual and multi-angle perspectives on stories around the globe. Global Television brings you Diplomatic Perspective with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Diplomatic Perspective, the world in front of you.
Hello and welcome to Diplomatic Perspective on Global Television, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. On Diplomatic Perspective today, we will be looking at the activities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, how it has boosted international relations. And my guest on the program today is the spokesperson of the ministry. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we will return and have a conversation with the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria.
Fast changing and news breaks at lightning speed. Let us guide you through events and stories about global narratives and developments in geopolitics, diplomacy, foreign affairs, and world economy. Get factual and multi-angle perspectives on stories around the globe. Global Television brings you Diplomatic Perspective with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Diplomatic Perspective, the world in front of you.
It's good to have you join us today on the program.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Now, tell us about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs have been doing so much, but a lot of people don't know about the activities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Can you just enlighten us about the activities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and how later on we'll get to see how it boosts international relations? But first of all, let's get to know the activities of the ministry.
Yeah, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a very unique ministry. Just as the name implies, it is the ministry in charge of coordinating all foreign policy issues that has to do with Nigeria. The ministry was established as a department in the office of the Prime Minister in 1960. Yeah, and it evolved as a department, the Ministry of External Affairs, and currently it is christened the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's headed currently by a minister. Then we also have a Minister of State, which some countries normally call Deputy Minister. Then we have a Permanent Secretary. So those are the key officials that coordinate activities in the ministry. So then in terms of our diplomatic missions, we have 109 missions. Out of that 109, 12 of them are consulates. There is distinction between an embassy and a consulate. Embassies are headed by ambassadors, and embassies are located in the capital cities of the receiving state. But consulates are located in big cities where you have a sizable number of your nationals engaged in different economic or social activities there. You establish the consulate generals to attend to the needs of your nationals in those big cities. And then I said in my opening that we are in charge of formulating the foreign policy of Nigeria. Even the implementation, we facilitate that. So that is the basic work of the Nigerian missions abroad. In headquarters here, so we provide policy guidance to the president, to the federal government. Then outside the countries, the embassies help to interface with the heads of government of the respective countries then also relate those information back to Nigeria and how to promote economic development, social development, as the case may be. Facilitating military cooperation in areas that we need those partnerships. Those, in summary, that in summary is some of the things that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does. Then also outside the country, if you have Nigerians that need consular services means they need support from the Nigerian government in area of maybe registering a business. We provide the necessary information to them, what office to relate with, as the case may be. If they need registration for a particular services, we provide those services. Then we facilitate those services. Then we also link them up with their contemporaries. That is what we call business to business matchmaking. So if you are in the manufacturing sector and you need competent and improved services, someone that can relate with you to improve your own businesses, we try to bring you to onto the same table to see how you can interact to profit each other, which in the long run will translate to foreign direct investment into our country, promoting different sectors as the case may be.
All right, thank you. While you were speaking, you talked about the major function of the ministry, which is foreign policy formulation and implementation, if I got you right. Now, can you tell us of some of the policies that has actually made good impact as it has to do with international relations and diplomacy?
I think the current foreign policy trust, the foreign policy trust of the current administration is focused on the 4Ds that has to do with demography, democracy, diaspora, and development. Demography in the sense that we have a sizable youthful population. So if we have a teeming youthful population, how do we explore the potentials in that our youth possess to benefit our country? So we try to harness, introduce youth-friendly policies. How can we capitalize on them? How can we capitalize on the labor that is in abundance in our country? So if we have foreign companies that need employment that will help to facilitate employment creation in the country, the ministry, especially through our embassies abroad now, we provide those linkages whereby those countries can look into our economy, center on which areas to invest on, which in the long run will now create employment for our teeming youth. So we do that. If we have areas whereby we need to facilitate training opportunities for the youths to be competent in rendering specific services, the ministry also facilitate that now. So sometimes we hear in the media whereby we have a number of youths from Nigeria going to social country for specific specialized trainings. We facilitate all those ones. I can't go into details about which company has engaged what number of youths, but those are some of the things that we do in terms of demography. Then in terms of democracy, we believe in the rule of law. We believe in democratic governance. Since Nigeria returned from a military rule in 1999, I think this is almost 25 years that we have practiced democracy. Don't forget that when there was military war or military crisis in different parts of West Africa, we put out our troops to provide to help to end the war in Liberia, end the war in Sierra Leone, how to bring about people-oriented leadership. We have been doing that. Nigeria has been providing finances to some of our neighboring countries and other countries in West Africa, and even other parts of Africa, how to conduct credible elections. We finance to a percentage elections in other countries, because we believe that when the rule of the people, when there is leadership that reflects the will of the people, there will be no crisis. And moreover, we are the giant of Africa. You can't take that away from us. So if there is crisis in any part of West Africa or in Africa, sometimes the nationals from those countries have to run to Nigeria. So to avoid a situation whereby you will be struggling with providing finances for refugee camps and all these ones. Why not facilitate or assist them in having credible elections and good leadership so that everybody can remain in their countries to prosper? So we do that under democracy. Then development. How can we galvanize support on different um, areas, different thematic areas in global governance in the world now? How can, okay, for example, climate change now? How can we provide leadership in Africa to bring everybody on board to pursue a particular agenda?
You talked about the issue of Nigerians committing crime abroad and being arrested and all of that. This is a country where everyone is trying their best to erase some impressions that has been made in the past that has actually blacklisted the country in some nations of the world. How has the ministry been able to manage such situations? Because everyone is in the business of trying to put Nigeria on the global map for the very good reasons.
The issue is this. Different countries of the world, the host government knows that Nigerians are very hardworking people. Nigerians are very enterprising. If you okay, let me give you an example of one of the countries that I served, Doha, Qatar. Like Qatar is in the Middle East. I had complaints from some of my Indians and Pakistani friends, and they said their nationals from their own countries, they were recruited the same time with Nigerians as, let's say, for example, as construction workers in a particular site. That give the Nigerian 6 months or 1 year, the Nigerian will go to school if it means taking online courses to improve himself. So instead of doing the physical labor in the construction site, you before you know what is happening, he has transformed or translated to become a supervisor or a manager. So he will no longer be doing the physical work, but gradually he transited from being a supplier of labor to now becoming a management staff. So that is how Nigerians are. So they don't like going somewhere and remain in India. No, 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 no. And remaining in one particular spot for a long period of time. So everybody knows that. There are countries you go to that, like even in America now, there are schools in America and Europe that for the graduating class, there are departments, there are courses whereby you see that either 90%, some cases even 100% of all the graduating students are from Nigeria. So what does that mean? That means we are contributing to even the educational development of those countries because those students are paying school fees. And all over the world, international students pay more school, a larger amount than to local students. So with that, we are contributing in that regard. So there are a very limited number of Nigerians that are involved in on I would say acts that we as a country cannot be proud of. But that is a limited number. But unfortunately, sometimes they use that limited number to generalize as if all Nigerians are bad or all Nigerians are evil-minded, as the case may be. But that is not true. That is not true.
All right, that's good. Let's get to other questions right now. While you were mentioning the offices that we have outside the country, even just now when we were speaking, we talked about ambassadors. But for a while now, well, especially with this administration, we've not had ambassadors. What would you? And some people, some Nigerians are feeling that there is a vacuum as far as not having an ambassador in some of these countries is concerned. What's your perspective about that?
As first, as a foreign service officer, I would say for the protection of the service and for me to be biased against what I've signed to do to serve Nigeria in this period of years till I retire, I would not be very happy, or I'm not very happy that we don't have ambassadors now. But that does not mean that the foreign missions are not functioning. I would say I'm not happy because the career projection of my senior colleagues, some of them will eventually lose out from becoming ambassador because We have, will I say, an informal rule whereby you will not, someone that has, let's say, less than 2 years to retire cannot be appointed an ambassador. The reason is this. Some countries, if you, the process of appointing ambassadors is a strenuous process. The ministry nominates the qualified foreign service officers and submits to the presidency. The presidency nominates the non-career ambassadors. Then they collate the list and present it to the Senate. The Senate will call them for screening. They will go through security checks, as the case may be. Then when they are, they will go for interviews. I think they will go to for what is the word that they use now? Screening in the Senate. Then after that, they are confirmed. Now, when they are confirmed, the federal government will now, with the leadership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will not, okay, this is the credential of this particular candidate now. Why not send him to country A? Why not send this to country B? You make all those background checks and fine tune the list that you want to send out. Now, when you present the credentials of that person, you forward to either the embassy or to the host country that you are sending the person to. The host country too will now study the credentials and background of the potential ambassador. We call the ambassador designate. Then, if they are satisfied, they will now write back to the Nigerian government that, okay, the proposed person you are sending to Nigeria, we accept him. So that they will send a document to the federal government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The document is called an agreement. And some countries, to get the agreement from those countries, they will take 6 months. Some will take even 1 year. It depends on. Some will take 1 month. At the case, if it's a very friendly country, will take 1 month. Now, even if the ambassador arrive in that country that he has received agreement, there are countries, for example, before I left Angola, they do presentation of letters of credence twice a year. So in some countries, they are very, very strict. If you have not presented your letters of credence, which your president has given to you, that he has appointed you to serve in that capacity in that country, if you have not presented that letter to the host president, you cannot function or introduce yourself as ambassador in any public gathering. You can be confined only to your mission and carry out other limited assignments. But you, as some, they would not even allow you to move outside the capital city, outside the capital, because you have not presented your letter. It's like we have not welcomed you officially. So imagine there are missions whereby you have ambassadors that are sent to a country, then that particular country, the mission has concurrent accreditation to different countries. Like, for example, I think countries like Ukraine has like 4 countries of concurrent accreditation that the mission have to service. I think Australia to have to like 3 or 4, something as the case may be. So sometimes even the past administration, some ambassadors were not able to present their letters of credence in all the countries of accreditation. Fine, you present in the capital where the embassy is, but the other countries that you are supposed to oversee, they could not even go around before they were recalled. So imagine that scenario now. So if you have someone that has less than 2 years to retire, it provides a challenge for that particular ambassador designate. Then the receiving states too will not be so happy that you someone presented a letter of accreditation to you in year 1. Then the second year, the person is sending you a note that I've been recalled, so I'm going back home. Everybody expects that at least the ambassador should be there for minimum of 3-4 years. So that has no impacts on the politicians because they can serve out the term. But for the career that will retire, they have that limitation, which I felt that on a personal note that I won't be very happy for what would happen to my senior colleagues. But that being said, for the functionality of the embassy, those that are appointed ambassadors from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially it might be from at least a level 15 to level 17 grade officer. And these officers have been trained in different areas of specialization. They have been to different missions whereby they've served Nigeria creditably well. So even if they are not appointed ambassadors, they are the ones that, because in every embassy, it is the most senior officer that we call the charge d'affaires, which is like the acting ambassadors, pending when the official ambassador will arrive or will be appointed to serve in that country. So we still have competent officers that are manning all these missions. So even if we don't have ambassador, I think the last batch was recalled, I think it's almost 2 years ago now. But we still have competent persons, competent officers, sponsored, trained by the federal government of Nigeria that are servicing those missions effectively.
So the office is not suffering?
It's not suffering, no.
Right.
Now, there are cases whereby, in terms of, I would say, confidentiality, then building trust, there are times that the president of a country, say you want to confide a message in you, that you pass directly to your own president. So if you are acting ambassador, sometimes they would not be very keen in having those engagements with you. But that does not mean that they are not engaging with you, or that does not mean that they are not performing your responsibilities.
All right.
Yeah.
We're trying to round up now.
Okay.
Before we round up, we want to look at the difference between the functions of NIDCOM and that of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because sometimes you speak to the officers at NIDCOM and they will tell you this is the function of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and all of that. And a lot of Nigerians tend to miss these functions, all right? Especially the issue of repatriation. You know, when people have issues, whose responsibility is it to bring them back home? Like you talked about, those are the missions, going to visit people at the police station and probably in prison and all of that. So what's the difference between the function, or let's just say, what's the jurisdiction of NIDCOM as it may?
I think I was expecting that question, so I'm not surprised. Now, let me be very plain. NIDCOM is a parastatal under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. NIDCOM cannot operate effectively without the support or blessings of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. If, for example, the focus of NIDCOM is on Nigerians living abroad. Nigerians living abroad. Now, don't forget that in every country we have Nigerians in diaspora. Yeah. Now, most of these countries now, we have what we call the Nigerian Community Associations. Now, these Nigerian Community Associations try to provide that communal leadership of Nigerians living in those countries. In most cases now, for example, now, if a Nigerian dies abroad and you are not with your family, the other Nigerians in that country are your kinsmen. They are the ones that will facilitate. If you are in distress or anything, they want to help you to facilitate all those stuff. Now, so the NIDCOM help to galvanize support for Nigerians that are living outside the country, how they can encourage them to come back to invest in the country, how they can make them to, okay, there is one word that they use now. Japa is going out, then I think there's a Yoruba word, they did Japa also. That is those that are outside is coming back now. They try to provide those linkages. But if a Nigerian is in distress outside the country, the first point of call is the embassy or the consulate. Because NIDCOM don't have officers that serve outside the country. Most times, they will reach out to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Foreign Affairs respective, either the consular section or office of the spokesperson will reach out to the particular country that we have issues with. Okay, let me just give an example of what happened in Central African Republic when we saw a viral video that Nigerians were abandoned by a Chinese, a company owned by a Chinese national in Central African Republic. When we saw the video, the first thing that the ministry does was for the spokesperson to contact our mission in the Bangui. The mission was able to identify with the pronunciation of the name of where they are stranded, establish contact with that particular province, provided facilitation of transportation to get those stranded Nigerians to Bangui. Then from Bangui now facilitated their movement into Nigeria. Now, we informed Nigerians that the Nigerians in questions have been contacted, and we are making ABC efforts to bring them safely to Nigeria. We did that. The ministry, though, we don't blow our trumpet. We did that. Then the affected Nigerians were successfully repatriated or transported by flight back to the country. But when they came to Nigeria, NIMCO was there to receive them. But Foreign Affairs cannot go and hack it. Say, no, we are the one that facilitated their return process. So, or query them that you are supposed to come to thank Minister of Foreign Affairs, not going to NITCOM. No, we will not do that. We are all working for the government with different areas of responsibility. But no one can work in isolation. But there are some that you can't work without the support of the other one that's supposed to provide your cover for you, so provide the necessary assistance for you to function.
Many thanks for giving us your time and being part of this conversation today. Thank you very much for joining us on Diplomatic Perspective.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You can see that this discussion is intensive. We now get to know the activities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. One of the things that I have taken away from this discussion is the fact that running the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is capital intensive. Looking at issues like, well, you need to get the office space, you need to get the allowances of the officials paid. And one very striking thing that I got from that conversation is the fact that Nigerians are not really lazy, especially when they travel out of the country. You can hear the spokesperson talking about the fact that Nigerians travel abroad and they take out time, irrespective of whatever assignment they have, to further their education so that they can gain ground in such countries, contributing to the educational development of such countries. This is going to be the size of Diplomatic Perspective today. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.